ndinonzi Sister Theresa Mafuta. Ndiri musista wemaHoly Cross masvingo diocese. Ndinoshanda ndiri paBondolfi. I have been a religious for 30 years now, this year, since 1995. And it has been a time which most of my time I spent working in formation, beside the other years when I was a junior sister myself. So it has been a very fulfilling time, because for me, formation is a time of self-discovery, of finding oneself in God and encountering oneself, the inner part of the person. Formation inobetsera mwana kuti azvitarise, azvione, azive Mwari. Chatine chinyanya kushuvira ndechekuti akaziva Mwari, akaita zvatinoti fall in love with God, zvimwe zvose zvinorema zvikazouya. Kana mwana iyeye ava kuziva Mwari, hazvizonyanyisi kunetsa. Zvinozoti futi kana ava kuziva Mwari, unobva ava adult, so that a person is a grown person. Haasi munhu unongomirira kuudziwa zvokuita, munhu unongoti dai vandituma kwakati, dai ndani, asi kuti anotarisa achiona kuti izvi ndizvo zvinodiwa nechita chedu, izvi ndizvo zvandokwanisa kuita muchechi, nokutovawo proactive kuudza vakuru kuti ini magifts angu ndoona ari papa nepapa. Saka izvozvo zvozotibetserawo kuti kana mwana uyu achikwanisawo kuva engaging nevakuru, it means she or he can engage with God. And if you can engage with God, God will always show you what is your potentials, where are you supposed to serve. So beside having being formed into what the congregation is, or if it is a diocesan spirituality, anything that you are formed for, you are formed for the service of the kingdom. You are formed for encountering God and forming a deep relationship with God, so that when difficulties come, as Jesus said, you build the house which is on rock, not on sand. And that's what I believe formation is. It's calling a person to realize that, where am I building my house for my religious life? It's also a time to discover. Recently, I was taking candidates to their homes to meet their families. I said to the families, a candidate has come to search for God and for her very self, because that is what formation should do. If you search for God and for your very self, and you discover that in the process, no, this is not mine, we should have the freedom to let the young person go. And even herself, if she becomes an adult, she should have the freedom to say, this is not for me. I thought it was, but now I want to leave. I think formation should be doing that. Kana formation yesu isingakwanisi kubetsera vana kuti vaite choice, vave vachiramba vakaita sevakasungwa, aisi hatisi kuita zvakanaka, pane chatiri kukonewa. Saka indoona kuti vana ngavave nefreedom iyoyo, asi vabereki vose pataivaudza izvozvo vaitobva vati kana ivo vakatoita choice iyeyi yakakosha zvikuru, ngavarambe variko, ngavasatodzoka, isu takatovapa kwavo kuna Mwari. Tikati kuvapa kuna Mwari tinokuziva, asi ini ndiri kuti mwana uchazoona kuti izvi ndezvake here kana kuti hazvisi zvake. Nesuwo tinenge takamutarisa, iye akatitarisawo. Saka ife tichida kungopa somufananidzo, togona kuti formation yakaita semukomana nomusikana vari kudanana, ina mastage. Saka pamasteji apa, sesu mareligious state chiti watanga ari aspirant, uri kungotarisa mukomana kuda zvinhu zvakare, ari kunyora tsamba, iye achisvoda achireplya, achiita sokuti haasi kufara, asi iye achifara nazvo. wozoona patinoti ukandidheti wava kunyatsokufungisisa kuti ndizvo here, ozoti futi ava mupostulant sevava vandanga ndichifambira ava mazuva ano, vava zvino kunyatsonzwisisa kuti chitai chichakamirirei, spirituality chitai noti kudini. Hatisati zvedu tanyanyisa kubata zvevowed life, asi tava kubata discipleship, nokuti woga woga akabhabhatidzwa, anogamuchira muviri neropa raKristu, anoinda kumasakramenti, sakramenti rekureurura, anotova muteveri waJesu Kristu. Saka ndiye yatoti discipleship ine tetodzikisa pakuti if you are living discipleship, you should also live as a person who is detached from being focusing on your body, focusing on relationships which are not relationships with God. You should also listen, focusing on having material things. You should slowly let go of those things so that when you end a novitiate, you are able really to embrace the meaning of vowed life. So when you are having a young person in formation, I anyhow used to tend to allow them to really be themselves, because if I don't find the real person, it's very difficult to engage with them, because then they are hiding. They are something else when I'm not there. Then they are somebody else when I'm around. If it is like that, I'm not happy. So I tend sometimes to pretend not to see what a person is doing, so that they can make a decision on their own. Or after some time, if they don't talk about it, then I ask them, what do you think about this? And sometimes they used to be quite shocked that, oh, sister was saying all this. But it's a matter of you do like a parent who just allow a child to play, but they are watching them. And if they see that they are going to fall, they run and catch them. So that's what I feel. And God does the same with us. God allows us to be ourselves. God gave us the freedom of being human, the freedom of making our own decisions. So that is also what formation does. Formation, when we look at it also, it's not only for religious life, but from the time we were formed at home, how we grow up, our Christian formation at home, sometimes now it's not so strong, because when we were growing up ourselves, like myself, we were learning scripture, Bible in school. It was all those things were touching oneself, and then later on, those things are coming back when you are in religious life. But our young people now, they are doing FRS, which is looking at all religions, and sometimes doesn't touch the calls as they used to do for us in scripture or Bible knowledge at all levels. So we feel that the need for catechetical formation is growing more and more, that when our young people come, we focus a lot on catechetical formation, so that when they choose life to really remain in religious life, they have a certain focus, and they are believing and understanding who God is to themselves. We look at many things in a person. One of that, which I said, is, are they adults who are able to make a choice on their own, who are able to make a decision on their own? Are they making choices for God, that they really say, God is whom I want to live for? Because the real person we all came for, those who are there already and those who are on the journey, we are attracted to the person of Christ. And if that person of Christ is not having meaning in their lives, I get worried, because I'm asking, what are they? What is the person really wanting? So we look for those areas. Then we also look at how that person can live with others. Jesus had disciples who sometimes squabbled and he corrected them. So we want to see, how does the person relate with others? Is she or he able to live in community? And when we are living in community also, are we able to share? It already touches the vow of poverty, which says things are not for me only. When I receive something, do I come and share with the community? So community is very important. I would say there are at least 4 pillars for religious life to be strong. That is vowed life, prayer life, which I was talking about, relationship with God, community living, and ministry or mission. Even community's mission, but we cannot just say, I am okay in the community and I'm not doing any service which is helping the community to continue. For me to become who I am in religious life, there are other sisters who made sacrifices. So we are also looking at, are they, when we send them for ministry, are they really putting themselves into what they are doing? How are they saving? In the formation house, even when I was in South Africa, even here in Zimbabwe, there are always people who come to beg. How is the young person talking to such people? And that's what I was saying, that sometimes you have to pretend as if you don't see when they are talking to the poor person. How are they talking to them? So we also look at those things, that are they living a life which will really witness to the life of Jesus Christ, while a formator is watching and while a formator is not watching. All those areas are very, very important. The area of sexuality, I say to them, this is a gift given to all of us, whether we are married, whether we are not married. We are called to be celibate. And one of the things I emphasized today is that to choose to live chaste life is a call for every baptized Christian. It's not only for us who are religious or who are priests. If you are living a chaste life, it means you are able to respect other human beings, their bodies, their sexuality. Because sexuality is what makes me who I am. A man, a woman, how I behave, what I do. But when we add that you remain celibate, that is, you are not married. A celibate is a state of not being married. And it's also meaning that I am not coupled with a person of the other sex. But in today's world also, even same sex, I'm not coupled with that person. That is what celibacy means. But when we add in chastity, it means I am living a chaste life which respects my body and respects the other person's body. But the grace of chaste and celibate living is not given once and for all. It's always in having taste. When a young person is come and is, we are talking about sexuality, we are talking about respecting the body, we are talking about making the choices not to act genitally. That is also important. We have to name spade as a spade. That genitality is something we have said no to. And when we are talking about that, it sounds like a rule for them. So they are not acting it because it's a rule. But if it remains a rule, a person breaks a rule. We all know that rules we break. It has to become a choice one day. At the moment when they are young like this, it's still a rule which they are struggling to accept and to live by. And we are also Africans who fertility and bringing about biological fruitfulness is needed to be seen by our people. I remember there was a cousin of my mother who would always say, what is happening to you? Don't you want your mother to have a grandchild? And we have also to teach our young people that it's not about not having a child. It's about not being active in that area of genitality. So that they know that when I am not active, where am I putting the energy that is there? They are young, they have the energy of feelings, they have the energy that comes with having a relationship of opposite sex. They have an energy which just rises at seeing and being attracted to a person of the other. When it becomes a vow of chastity, which is a value which Jesus Christ chose, it is shown in fruitfulness, in our loving everybody. As I was talking, those people who come to our house, those who are poor, how are we showing love which really makes them believe there is a God who cares about them? And you will realize that our young people, when they become focused on doing whatever we do for God, out of love for God, the burden of not being coupled lessens. But faithfulness to prayer is one of the pillars of religious life. If they are faithful even to the prayer, community prayer, and also sitting alone before the Blessed Sacrament, sitting alone with the Lord in meditation, and entering into that deeper relationship with God, it helps to lessen the feeling of I am restricted and realize that I have made a choice. We have to accept I am a woman, I am a female, I am a male, I am whoever I am. Sexuality is what makes us who we are in the world. How we express ourselves, what culture taught us about how a woman sit, how a man sit, is all about sexuality. But how are we taking all that energy, offering it to God in the service of the kingdom is the test. And myself, the other area I used to make sure that we do is mixing them to God and meet other young religious or those in formation, other novices. Go for those inter-novitiate meetings so that they meet also the male side, so that they test themselves. If they feel that this is not for them, they should be honest enough that they found somebody who has attracted them while they are already in the process. It's also fine. We don't restrict a person from having that. So the challenge is sometimes it goes with having to let go home issues and really focus in the religious life. And another challenge I see, which is becoming very strong, is the area of obedience. They like to do their own way, their own thing. So to be told that God speaks through authority is really authority in the service of obedience, and how is it helping us to save the whole community? Sometimes it's very hard, because formation also doesn't end by taking the first vows. There is ongoing formation for those who are still in temporary vows, and then there is even ongoing formation for us senior sisters, reminding ourselves, because all those challenges which were there before, when there was a formator telling us to do, now when we are thinking for ourselves, doing what we think, there can be even bigger challenges. I see that in Zimbabwe we are working hard and trying our best. We have, the CMRS has tried its best, like to have a formation program where the sisters, brothers, priests, even from the diocesan side, are going for that formation program. But not everybody has welcomed it. Sometimes it's also difficulty of financially, that people are affected financially. But I see that the formation of our young people cannot be well done if the formators have not been formed. The formation of formators should be the focus for us here in Zimbabwe, because the formation of formators helps a formator to challenge herself, to face herself, to really do inner work. I usually say, if I have not yet done my inner work, I don't earn the ability to challenge another person. How much of formation has happened to the formators we are having? What is the caliber of the formators we are having? Because if as a formator, you are able to look at yourself and challenge yourself, you will also help the young person to grow into self-challenging. When a person can challenge themselves, they take easier criticism which comes from outside. But if they can't challenge themselves, motozoti muchatambura nemunhu iyeye kuti mugomuudza kuti izvi zvauri kuita izvi hazvisi izvo, vanokuudza kuti ini ndo zvandaona zvakanaka. Saka moita friction. Saka formation kuti isimbe, titi really we are forming them on the rock. Formation of formators must be a focus. Sometimes I really get worried about the behavior which ourselves, religious and priests, are showing outside there. One thing my father told me when I said I wanted to be a sister, he said, don't go and cheat God. We are behaving as if we didn't make this choice, or we didn't respond to what God is saying. I still am happy when I hear prophetic voices preaching, and even you see that there are still priests and religious who are making effort to live with integrity. I still have hope that with those few who are living with integrity, we shall also, people might go inside themselves and question themselves, what am I doing? What does it mean? Because in the end, we shall sit with ourselves before God with none of those people whom we were misleading or misleading ourselves. So for me, it frightens me if religious life is not well lived. My advice really when people are struggling, as I said already about those information, those who are in ongoing formation, please leave so that the scandal doesn't continue. It's better when we live and go and live our own life at home. Saka ndona sokuti kana vanhu vasina vachiona kuti indasvikonewo kubuda kwakanaka ndo Mwari unokugamuchira. Chipo chokurarama, vowed life chokurarama, poverty, chastity and obedience chinobva kuna Mwari. Chinoenda through test. Haumboshayi kutest, asi Mwari unotipa simba.